Hello. Okay, so welcome. So my name is Adi Muslik. I'm VP Sponsors and Partners at PMI Switzerland chapter. So I will do a bit of introduction. So there was no really plan for me to do the introduction to disciplined Agile. Okay, thank you. But I will do that. I'm not an expert, but I would say I got a bit of knowledge why this is an interesting concept for what we call business agility. And think about disciplined agile, it's not very well known concept. So what we will try to do today is first to present the material that is available. A lot of it is for free. And then our friends from Swissquote will tell you how actually you can implement it. And to our knowledge, Swissquote is actually the first organization in Switzerland that has successfully implemented disciplined agile. So we will start now. So we are a little bit late, but again, what I will be telling you will not take too much time. So we will start with the keynote at 18:30, and then we will just follow the plan. So I would like to thank Swissquote for welcoming us, because for our chapters it is extremely important to have partners and sponsors like Swissquote, because it helps us to really have more of these educational events and also the possibility to meet with like-minded people. That said, Disciplined Agile is a toolkit. And this is wrong slide. So what is Disciplined Agile? So it is a toolkit that enables you to find your own way of working. This means actually that allows a lot of flexibility in terms how you do Agile project management. So saying that, so it's, as I said, it also enables all individuals that are sitting in Agile team to think and work differently, because what we see in what we know as a Scrum or SAFe, there is a lot of prescription there, and the roles and principles are very well defined. What Disciplined Agile does is actually enables much larger agility in any kind of organization. Although a lot of elements are focusing on so-called software delivery, there are still plenty of elements that actually allow for real business agility. And finally, it also helps you to accelerate implementation of agility. So, principles. First principle is flow. Then we have so-called life cycles that are related to flow. We talk about people, roles, and responsibilities, then practices, and above everything, what's always important about agility is mindset. So some of the principles of mindsets are written here, so I'm not going to take time on these. Just to mention that we will share all these slides with you, and this is really just for your information. So right now we will talk a little bit about flow. Why flow is interesting? Because what Disciplined Agile gives is these 6 life cycles. And if you go to Disciplined Agile toolkit, and for example, you will see the later on Disciplined Agile browser, where you can actually select different elements that you can use in creating your or designing your project delivery. What it makes really simple is these life cycles. So you just need to identify the good life cycle that would work for you, and just follow through it. And actually, it makes it very easy to really do this way. And this is just an example how this life cycle would look at the end. Again, now we are moving to the people side, so what we will see also that roles are a little bit different, but what is actually important with Disciplined Agile, that it leaves a lot of open space to, apologies, okay, this went wrong. Anyway, I will go back to those people, so it's allows a lot of space to design the roles, so it doesn't need to be very specifically the roles that are defined in other Agile frameworks. Actually, in Disciplined Agile, you can find the different roles and allows again for a lot of flexibility in designing the team as well. And then these are the principles. This is a little bit more complex topic to talk about, so we will not touch on these. So it's something that you start using going through those life cycles. So again, you have 6 life cycles, and then they kind of help you going through these principles. So how that works actually? What we will see here is these are some of the principles that are mentioned in these tables and the different categories. And here we have example of the actually exploring the scope. As you can see, there are a lot of elements here. So if we, for example, select EPIC as our scope target, then what we will see, there is also very detailed explanation of different elements in this specific category. And then you can walk through all these categories and actually choose the best one for you. Then another important item to mention that Lean is fully integrated in the discipline Agile. But again, we will not be going into much detail. So I don't need to really read this slide, but I will let you read it. So it's again about understanding the toolkit, and in my experience, what happens actually, people go to this toolkit, see plenty of these elements, and then somehow they get lost. And what we can see now in Swiss market, that a lot of companies are going for SAFe, for example, just for the reason that actually it's a complete recipe. So no thinking, you just apply and implement and you go ahead. But again, we can also see that the level of satisfaction after implementing SAFe is not at enough high level, because then we start seeing limitations of SAFe. And again, Discipline Agile really allows to go beyond that. And this is the message. So if you stick to something that is prescriptive, actually that then in a way puts boundaries around your way of working, and then actually you do not have really liberty to go out of it. And again, with Discipline Agile, you can do this. So this is some example of the book that is also written by authors of Discipline Agile, and here we have actually something that is talking about continuous improvement. These are just some elements to think about. Again, we do not need to really go into this, because we will have a bit of presentation later on talking how implement in specific organization. What is key here is this guided continuous improvement. So what it means is that actually there is principles that we will see just a little bit later in the slide that actually help you to keep continuously improving. And then there was some research that been done by PMI that showed that actually this guided continuous improvement helps to have better results than compared to other frameworks. Okay. Again, Discipline Agile is also very applicable in these so-called scaled Agile scenarios. And this comes back to these principles that we can then implement in a way that lead us to what we just saw in terms of guided continuous improvement. And eventually, if implementation goes well, you would be finding yourself in this continuous circle where you keep delivering the value and constantly improving. So, in summary, so the one takeaway would be that actually using these prescriptive frameworks like Scrum and SAFe, it's good for start, but it's not something that will actually help you to go beyond. Another thing is that for true business agility, you really need flexibility. So again, going back to prescription, it's not the way to go. So you can go one step, two steps, but then going to the first step might be actually difficult because there is no way out of the framework. And just not to repeat what I said about discipline agile, so again, it gives a lot of ways to find your proper way of working. And again, we know that all organizations are different, and actually finding your own way of working is actually the secret for the success. That said, it's again question of understanding. So discipline agile, I have to admit, it's not easy to understand because when you go, you see so much material, then you just get, okay, where do I start? So I will show you very soon some elements that can help you to give it a start. And then you just need to, let's say, be a little bit persistent. So just go a little bit into it, start digging, start learning, and then you will see actually it's very simple because it really helps you to go through different phases using the life cycle and then actually going to specific elements. Okay, so what PMI has delivered for you to be able actually to start with the discipline agile. So the first one is so-called the basic of discipline agile. It's really the very basic training, but again, it gives just the elements that you can use just to start off with this discipline agile. That said, again, it walks through 6 life cycles, gives you idea of how to implement life cycles. And then the next element that, again, is 100% free. So you do not even need to be PMI member. You just go on the website, so the links are there, and just help yourself as much as you like. And using the DA browser is, again, one big element that you can use right now. And even if you are not implementing discipline agile or not doing even agile projects at all, there are plenty of elements that can be used in what we call predictive project management as well. So it's just, let's call it a library of good ideas how to do value-oriented project management. Okay, and then what we as a chapter do, we created a so-called Agile community of practice, and our volunteer Florian Ivan, who's Agile community of practice program manager, and happened to be also discipline Agile expert, he would be really happy to help you. So if you really get stuck and do not know what way to go, please use, there is a LinkedIn group here. I put on the slide actually how you find the way to find Agile community of practice on our website. And here there is also the link to Florian's LinkedIn profile. So either way you use, I mean, you get to the right person to talk to, so he is there to help you. Again, saying that discipline agile, some people have been wondering for the last 2 years whether it's something that is strategic orientation of PMI, so I can again confirm to you that it is. So we had a couple of volunteers going to Global Summit in Atlanta just recently, and again, they received quite solid confirmation that discipline agile remains strategic product of PMI. That said, there are 4 certifications for the discipline agile, so this is not for free, so this is something you really need to pay for. So it starts with the discipline agile Scrum Master, and it's followed by discipline agile Senior Scrum Master. For these 2 certifications, actually, there is no need to have much experience, so any experience between 0 or 3 years is enough to complete this certification. And with the discipline agile Senior Scrum Master or even just Scrum Master, you get actually certification that validates your knowledge of discipline agile. But again, doesn't guarantee that you can implement discipline agile. So this is why they created so-called discipline agile value, forgot the exact naming, and I can't see it from here, so surely, yeah, stream consultant. And the next one is discipline agile coach. So with these 2 roles, what PMI wanted to achieve is really to help organization who kind of get to struggle with the implementation of disciplinary agile to find the right way around it and really then implement disciplinary agile in a correct way. So that's for me. As I promised, we would be on time. And if you will have any questions in relation to disciplinary agile tools and how to find them on PMI website, or any kind of question around PMI or even PMI Switzerland chapter, so I will be around during the event and also during networking apero, so please don't hesitate to get in touch and we can talk about it. So now I will hand it over to our friends from Swissquote. Thank you.
Thank you, Adi. Thanks. So thank you to be here. You were talking about DAVSC, so the Discipline Agile Value Stream consultant. Today we have the honor to have one of our dear colleagues, Antonio Morisco, that just passed and have his exam today. Congrats. So let's start. First of all, thanks a lot to be here. But if you can just scan this QR code.
We're going to be asking you some questions.
A participative and interactive session.
You should be seeing an instruction page.
Yes, and there is 2 screens, so... And don't hesitate to come here.
Yeah, come in front,
come on. That's okay? Okay? Yes?
Okay. We come back to that later.
Yes, later. Seems to be okay. So good. So, let's start. So today we're going to show you, explain you how we are fostering the innovation and optimizing the delivery here at Swissquote, and particularly because we are embracing Discipline Agile. My name is Edwige Fiaclou. I'm currently the head of talent and methodology within the software engineering department. And if I have to talk about me, I think I am continuously trying to learn new things, and whatever the context, whatever the technology, whatever the business, I'm trying to always to improve this creativity, because yeah, I think it's definitely part of me. And what I can say, in addition, yeah, my background is computer science. Okay, and you, Laetitia?
Hello, nice to have you here. So my name is Laetitia Aegerter. I'm an Agile coach. I'm working actually with Edwige. Actually, we're just the representative of the methodology team. We do have our 2 colleagues here in front of us as well. And for me, so I have a quite specific background because I'm coming from HR. It's a bit weird, maybe, but so I did the move recently, not a long time ago, but I've been into the agility for a while because as I was working as an HR, I actually had a project with the software engineers, and this project was to put in place the career path. And we did it in an agile way, so with iterations, with having reviews, demos, retrospective. And actually, I quite fall in love with agility back then. And so I try really as well in my project in HR to bring that into this project. And for me, what's really important is the mindset. Okay? This idea of this agility, that it shouldn't be only at the end within only the delivery teams, but should be for the whole company. So my idea for me today is really to be able to kind of democratize the agility through the company.
Okay, so, but I think it's important to just explain what we are doing here in Swissquote. Yes, we are a bank, a fintech. So what it means that we try and we are delivering really funny and fancy applications for our clients in trading, investments, and banking. But I hope that we could explain more later. But before starting the presentation, because the presentation didn't start yet, we have a question for you. Do you remember when you or your team have been the most innovative? Well, for Swissquote people, I think you don't have to answer to that question, right? You already have the mindset, right?
So yeah, think about this moment, okay? And now, if you remember well, okay, what were the ingredients actually, of this innovation, of this success. So for that, we're going to be asking you to go into the Menti that you scanned it before.
If you don't scan the QR code, it's the last moment to do it.
So now you should be able to answer to this question. Okay, we see some words appearing, so motivation, mindset, people, flexibility, guts, yeah, well, communication, openness, okay, creativity, vision.
Safety.
Ah, interesting.
Interesting. Freedom, no?
Okay, good. Well, on our side, we're not going to be giving you the answer right now, obviously, of our key ingredients for the innovation. But maybe in the meantime, Edwige, you could come up with an example.
Yes. I have really a super nice example for that question. It was in a hackathon, because, you know, we used to do hackathon every year here at Swissquote, and especially on the software engineering department. And I remember it was in 2018, right? With my dear colleague Marius, a guy with so many ideas and some creativity sometimes that can be complicated to follow, but I'm crazy like him, so. And the topic for that year was champion the customer. It means a lot for me, champion the customer, okay? So I was here, okay, Marius, we have to do something with this idea. It's super nice, but what we can do? And he was like, yeah, I don't know what you think about customer, champion the customer. I was, yeah. It means that, yes, maybe we should do something about the loyalty, having client maybe, you know, having a reward when they are doing some stuff with us, and we are okay. But we are not like, you know, this company of a grocery shop on which, yeah, you go to the Migros, you go to the Coop, you present your card, and you get some bonus, and after it's, no, we don't have the Cumulus card in Swissquote. So we were like, okay, maybe we can do something like this. And it was the famous trend of the cryptocurrencies. So I was like, I'm in love with this crypto world, so maybe I can, yeah, we can integrate a coin, okay, for each transaction, trade that the client do, he can be rewarded. His loyalty can be rewarded with a coin, a Swiss coin, so that it's close to Swissquote. And basically, in 24 hours, we implemented this idea. And today, you can find it on the app. We have a joint venture today with Post Finance, okay? The application is you, and for each trade the client is doing, he can get some Swiss coin, and if he wants, he can reuse it to decrease the cost. So
finally, it's like we have our own M-Cumulus.
Exact, right. Right, but I think that it's important maybe to understand where we come from at Swissquote.
Yeah, let's back a little bit to the roots of Swissquote so you understand where we come from, because we are not a bank like the others. Actually, the company has been founded by 2 engineers, which is already a specificity in itself, so we are not led by bankers. And here we can see our founders. The picture is pretty old, huh? Actually, it's been a while, nearly 30 years, and they studied in Gland. That's why today you are in Gland, because back then they were in a garage by the train station. And don't ask me why they pick up Gland, actually, because back then it was not even a town, it was a village. Okay, and so it all started here, actually. And they had a dream or a vision, and the vision was they wanted to democratize the financial world. That was what they had in mind, to make it accessible to everybody. And from this dream came a lot of innovation and a lot of products. So first of all, we've been the first online bank in Switzerland. completely online. I'm not going to go through all these products, but for example, we've been the first bank to launch an application on Apple TV. We've been as well the first one to recently, well, it was 2 years ago, I think, the first European bank to launch the crypto as well. So the crypto back then, so Bitcoin, it was mainly for the geeks, so they were mining at home, and it was in this idea to democratize again, so we democratized the crypto as well. One of the things that we have launched is the theme trading. What is the theme trading? So people can invest on products related to a specific topic. I'll give you an example, the cannabis. Yeah, it sounds strange, but we do have a theme trading about the cannabis, and actually it did work well, pretty well.
Very well.
So if you want to invest, maybe I would have a look at that. So now, I'm not going to go much further in that, but all that to say is that actually innovation is part of the Swissquote DNA.
Yes, the Swissquote DNA, and it's interesting because I saw change maker. I think that we are part of those people always trying to be change makers, okay? So our values are here, but I want just to highlight 3 of them. The first one, that is the dare to be different. What it means, that we are game changers, finally. We want to be disruptive in our domain, in our scope, in our business, okay? The second one is the unit as one. Why? Because we are really promoting the diversity. Diversity in terms of background, diversity in terms of culture. All of that can help you, really, to build the best product. And the last one is the pursuit of excellence. What it means. This continuous learning, continuous improvement mindset, the Kaizen mindset. I'm sure that all of you know the Kaizen mindset. And definitely, this is really part of the fundament of the mindset of Swissquote. But to illustrate that, I think it's important for you just to watch that video, and after we will really, really explain you why DA is the key ingredient for us.
The world is ruled by codes. How to talk, laugh, dress, or be. And even about how to code. But if you want to create opportunities, you need to challenge all of these.
The code says leave banking to bankers. We challenge that. Our bank was founded by outsiders, engineers thinking outside the bank, not here to protect a legacy, but to solve issues the others couldn't see. The code says bankers need suits. We challenge that. We wear what suits us best. What suits us is to think, manage, dare, and invest. And it turns out ties reduce the blood flow to your brain. The code says, do what everyone has done before.
We challenge that. We work hard to be different. Otherwise, you'll be indifferent. The code says only pros can invest. We challenge that. We free you of the heavy fees. Teach you the tricks of the business. We simplify buying, selling, and make you sharp. So you can focus on opportunities. The code says online banks are shaky.
We challenge that. We offer rock-solid Swiss stability, so you can rock with your money. The code says banks don't care. We challenge that. We love numbers! But we don't treat anyone like one. We become strong by making our clients stronger. And that's why we challenge the code.
So we need something to challenge the code. And you see, I think in this video, a lot of diversity, a lot of promotion, the dare to be different. So, but what we want really?
Well, obviously, we talked a bit about our history, but we don't want to end there. We want to continue to grow. We have a high perspective in terms of growth. Here on the picture, I can see you can see our next building. It's going to be next door. The construction hasn't started yet, but it should start pretty soon.
It's still in Gland.
And so we want to continue to grow, but actually we are not the only one on the market. We do have a lot of competitors, and the competition is fierce. So that means that we just can't rest on our laurels. So we need to be fast to the market. We need to deliver the products as fast as possible. So if you want to be innovative, if you want to be pioneers, you need to be the first one. So for that, it means we need to be agile. So now, for me, what I'm going to be doing is the parallel between the history of Swissquote and the history of the agility, okay, by Swissquote. So as I was saying before, there were two engineers in their garage. Well, obviously, when you're a startup, it's pretty easy to be agile. You change your priority from one day to the other. The hierarchy is flat. They were really listening to the clients to have the feedback, so really short feedback loop to be able to build what was delivering value for the customers, all right? The company started to grow, so as you could see, we are driven by the technology as well. When it says challenge the code, it's as well linked to the fact that we are Fintech, and so we have a lot of developers. So we started to implement Scrum, so that the developers were using Scrum, and it was working pretty well, huh? But it's just the companies, we were growing, and quite fast, actually, so things were coming a little bit complex, if I can say that like this. And at some stage when you're growing, we figured out that maybe we were not that agile anymore, or at least some of part of the company were not that agile anymore, okay? Because obviously we are a company, we have such a hierarchy and the way decisions were taken. So we need to come back to the roots, if I can say like this, to this agility, and we decided to implement a framework that was more at scale. Back then it was the Spotify model. So we picked up the Spotify model. It was sexy, no? The Spotify, this company, really growing fast in the technology, and they were a bit disruptive, so we thought, okay, why not you trying to put in place Spotify at Swissquote? And well, actually, we should have been a little bit cautious, because when we had the Agile coach coming here, and he was one of the Agile coach that actually worked for Spotify at the moment, they created this model. The first thing he told us, it's not a model. We never intended to sell it elsewhere. We never thought that some other companies wanted to implement it as well, okay? We did it for just ourselves. We said, okay, but still, we can try to inspire ourselves and to put this model in place for us. Well, it didn't work. Didn't work for us, at least, and it didn't work because we had some disalignment between the departments. Roles and responsibilities were not clear. We implemented a lot of new roles and new responsibilities, and it was not clear for people. So I said, okay, instead of trying to continue this direction, okay, we stop, we learn from that, and we continue. We created our own framework in a way or another, so the do-it-yourself at the end of the day. And from there, we said, okay, we are still in this mindset of the agility, and we need to continue to improve. And we had some retrospective at scale.
A good tool if you need just to be more agile and understand what are the problems, right?
So a really good tool, actually, to figure out how you can continue to improve and to learn. And we saw that still the vision was not clear. We were lacking a bit of governance. The collaboration actually needed to really be improved. And that was something important for us. As we've seen in our DNA, in our value, is the unit as one. Okay? So we needed to put at the center again this collaboration in this organization, or making sure that we could improve that. Okay? So we needed to have, at the end of the day, a framework that was at scale. Okay? We needed to have a framework that actually was not only was not only addressing the delivery team, but the company, and for that, so addressing the governance, giving some guidelines or guidance on the governments, on the different views on how you coordinate the governance and how you measure your success and the KPIs, for example.
And also about the strategy, because this is the key of the innovation too. Yeah, addressing the strategy, so this vision, addressing as well the leadership, so giving guidance as well to the leadership, to the leaders, and as well it should have been a culture match, meaning that the framework for us should be an enabler and not a constraint. Okay, and so all that lead us actually to choose Discipline Agile. So, finally, back to Adi presentation. Wow, this is the long journey of Swissquote to go with that. If you just have a look on the 7 principles for us, 6 of them have a one-to-one. The be awesome, okay? Meaning that we are promoting the dare to be different. The pragmatism, because we just want always to say how it is. Delight the customer, because we are really champion the customer. This was one of the topics on which I worked during my hackathon. Enterprise awareness. Optimize the flow. You remember this Kaizen mindset, always trying to be in this pursuit of excellence. And the choice is good. And all those 6 principles are perfectly fitting with our values. The other one, context count, it's really important because we are working on the financial world. When we talk about finance, we think about regulation, compliance, technical debt. Oh, many technical debts we could talk about, and guys from the team. So, a lot of context to take into parameters. So this hybrid tool, okay, you explained that very well. It's really interesting for us. So, it's a match. It was really a match in terms of openness, the fact that it's a not prescriptive framework, the flexibility, because we want it to be more agile, the customer centricity, everything is focused on the client, okay? The context-sensitive mindset, and finally the at scale. We really want to have all the entities, all the business domain in the company aligned through the same mindset, the same value, the same organization, and everyone should be represented in the framework, in the value stream. So, how we did that? First, we choose your woe. We started by that, choose your woe. So, Adi presented the book, this book that is super essential, I would say. Why we started by Choose Your Woe? Because it's really a way for everyone in the company to intentionally select what's the best organization, what's the best way of working within the full organization. So why? It helps first to increase the flexibility and the adaptability, to improve the performance and the outcomes, to also increase the employee engagement, because at the end what you want is to have people really empowered and really motivated on the day-to-day. And finally, to reduce the risk and the complexity. So, to bring this Choose Your Woe, how we did that? We started by the workshop. But the strategy was to start by the senior management, because they are the ambassador of this message, of these changes, this transformation, this intentional transformation. So they were part of this interesting workshop, and we really try first to work hands-on with them. After, we continue to the full departments to do workshops, so that they are really empowered of the Choose Your Woe. The second step was the talk, okay? We cultivate this awareness by talking. We prepared some lunch talk, sometimes some breakfast talk, just, to attract people. It's a technique, the food, generally. And the last one, the newsletter. So everyone can asynchronously just pick up the document and just read, oh, interesting, they produce something interesting about this methodology or that one. Okay, so this was the first, the awareness.
Yeah, and it's just the beginning, because now actually in terms of workshops, we did some workshop on the war, and we just launched today a new workshop for the value stream. We're going to be talking about that before. So, and in the next newsletter, we're going to be talking, we're going to have all the talks, so it's really an ongoing effort that we're doing in terms of awareness as well. And little by little, the idea of this is be addressing more and more departments within the organization. Yeah, apart from this awareness part, what we did is we deep dive within the team, meaning what we were, teams were coming to us, okay, even team leaders or even team members, say, okay, how can you help us to be more agile? Or how can we do to be more efficient, to improve? We do have some problem in terms of, predictability. We do have some problem with the estimation. So what we were doing is first to have kind of an observation, going to the ceremonies for the sprint planning, daily stand-up, retrospective, making some interviews as well with the team members, but with the stakeholders as well, to understand how they interact among them. And from there, we were giving some recommendations to the team, giving either some tools or way of working or practices, obviously coming from DA. from Discipline Agile. And behind either, so the teams were implementing by themselves, either my colleagues as well were doing some coaching directly, so making some workshops with the team specifically to address their challenges directly. And always using, obviously, the Discipline Agile and the e-browser that we were talking before. And actually, one of the tools that we've been using through the workshop, but as well through the deep diving, so something that I forgot, this allows us to be close to the teams as well, and not like promoting some methodologies, some practices, not knowing what the teams really need. So we keep close.
to keep contact with the reality.
Okay.
And driving a project, driving also just a team and a specific context.
Yes, exactly. So context count again. So one of the tools was the tactical scaling.
One of my favorite tools, honestly. I really like that tool because it's representing really all the dimensions that you can have in a project. The team size, the geographical distribution, the organizational distribution, the skills availability. Oftenly, sometimes someone just don't have the skills for a specific request, especially on the trading side. The compliance part, because you know that everything is regulated here. Solution complexity, and finally, the domain complexity that is quite important in the fact that we always need to be time to markets. So, here, it's a concrete case, a real case on which we worked with during a workshop, you remember? And the goal was really to address, based on a context, a project, the situation. And basically, what we found is that the domain complexity and the compliance was the farthest from the center, and really big in terms of points. So basically, it means that, yeah, we had to address domain complexity and the compliance part. So the team, during this exercise, decided to pick up the compliance and to fix, I would say, to tackle definitively this problem. So we came with the matrix, okay, and we discussed all together, and finally they decided to go with the acceleration of the value delivery. So we picked that process goal, and at the end we finally found a consensus with the team, okay, and go to optimize the work. It was really important, based on the strategy, the project request, to have everyone aligned. So what they wanted to do is to make the workflow visible, so that everyone, whatever the context, is on the same page. So make the workflow visible through Discipline Agile. It's explained, as Adi showed before, in the GA browser. You have all the elements. And at the end, they were all agree that everyone on the team knows the process they are following. It avoids confusion, it enables collaboration, it supports process improvement, provides a baseline against which improvements are measured, and finally forces team to agree on their way of working.
So talking about workflow, I guess it leads us to another concept that we've put in place, or we've been working on, and talked a little bit about before, is the value stream concept.
Yes, the value stream. So, I'm going to again to ask a question, right? Okay, according to you, knowledge. Okay, no need your phone, you can just vote, okay? According to your knowledge, what do you think about the value stream mapping concept? So basically, it's a way to represent, okay, to the product flow of your product. Huh? It can improve the productivity from which percentage?
So let's have hand raise. Raise your hand. So who is for 5%? So improve productivity of 5%. No one? Okay. 10?
No one.
10?
Ah, okay.
Okay, some of you. 20?
Oh.
Yes, you're right.
You're 20%. The winner. Yes, 20%. And this is coming from an interesting study that I read from the University of Michigan, on which they explain that it can improve the productivity of 20%, but it can also decrease the lead time, so the time to deliver the product in production, from 50%. just because you make the flow visible. So make the visible the invisible. Basically, the value stream mapping is the concept that can really, but definitively help your team. And this is coming from DA. So it helps you to identify and eliminate the waste, because everyone is focused on the same workflow and can automatize when they want, when they can, part of the process. It also helps you to improve the communication and the collaboration. Why? Because finally everyone is working with the same concept and they know what they have to do, when, and how. It increases also the customer satisfaction because everything is focused on the client. The client requests go back to the client, okay? And it's from the client that the strategy comes from, finally. So basically, this value stream that Adi presented just before is the value stream coming from DA, and you have to appropriate yourself this value stream. And basically, it's focused on the client. It makes the flow transparent. It helps you to be aware about the processes, and it focuses you on the delivery. So I think that now you can show us how you work with the value stream.
Yes, so that's a real example of our value stream. Obviously, you can't read pretty precisely, but it's showing that really our value stream. So from the product strategy, so the research, till actually the deployment. So what we've been doing, we've been working with a work group, and in this work group we have different representatives, so managers, first line management, even sorry, top management. We have software engineers, product owners as well in this work group, and all together what we did is that, okay, let's see what we should keep, improve, start or stop in this value stream, okay? So we use what we call the KISS, which is not keep it simple, stupid, but what I've just said. And so we figure out, so here you have the full picture, so we figure out that we did have some issues in terms of estimation, and when the estimation were done, about I would say the information, for example, that the PO and developers were having to make the estimation that may not be enough, for example, when the estimation were made. And as well, we figure out in terms of annual roadmap, okay, we need to provide a vision to the executive management, but today we are agile, so we are working more on a shorter term basis, if I can say. So all these challenges that we should do that. And one of the big challenge, it was that today, and you can't really see at the top here, but in the line here, it's the cycle times. So we were following how long does it take to go through all these stages, okay? So now, as I said before, the idea is to be faster to the market, so we needed to really work on this cycle time. So what we've seen is that at some stage, all the specification part of a project that was done before needed to be shifted right, okay, into the implementation. And on the other side as well, for example, the business validation that today has been done at the end should be shift left, so it's done during the implementation. So we have much more iteration, much more contact with the business, we were already doing some demo, but really making sure that we have more validation all along the way and that the business can test already all along the way, okay? So that was one of the things that now we're actually working on. We do have some workshop running every 2 weeks with this work group to improve all the flow and all the different part of the value stream, right? One thing actually as well that came out is that today, so the PO has to manage the backlog, okay? And he has requested coming from a lot of stakeholders, coming from the product strategy, but as well the business requests coming from the traders, for example, or even though the legal saying no, but now we have a new regulation, which happens quite often now, and we need to put that in place. So how to prioritize this backlog? Okay, that's kind of a challenge because obviously everybody wants to have their feature done before the others, okay? So we needed to come with a solution. So we dig into the prioritization, and now what we're going to be asking you is that we found a practice within the Dear Brother.
Yes.
Brother, sorry.
With Sebastian.
And we're going to be asking you to go into Dear Brother and to find and to see if you find yourself a practice that you think could be useful, maybe for you, because I guess the prioritization it's a problem for everybody and not only for Swissquote. And so we put here the QR code on the Dear Brother.
Yes.
So you could access.
I told you at the beginning, it's an interactive session, right?
So maybe you're going to come with some solution that we can implement ourselves as well.
Yes, why not?
And try.
Is it okay? So it's working?
Okay, just a few information about the Dear Brother, and it's been shown before quite quickly. So you have at the beginning what we call decision points. So the process goal, then which were the
goals that you want to reach.
The hexagon that he showed you in the full picture of the toolbox. Then you have the decision points, and coming from the decision points behind, you have some practices. Okay. Then you can see that some of the practices, you can see that there are some an arrow here. Okay, so it means that the one at the top is the most preferred one or the most recommended one. Okay, just for you to know, to understand how to use it. And otherwise, sometimes you don't have any arrow, but you have some points that are in bold. The bold is actually the easiest starting point, which is not always the most recommended one, because the most recommended one can be too difficult to put in place. So they put as well the easiest starting point. Okay. So we're gonna open on our side the browser. Does it work to everybody? It's fine. You have access. So you can start to scroll in and to try to see if you can find a way to prioritize a backlog or the work in a way. We call it backlog, but to prioritize the request. So some information just how to use the Dear Browser. On the left here, you have the table of content, in another, okay? So here, if you go at the top, please. Okay, so the first part is dedicated to the delivery, okay, with these different phases that actually Adi showed before, with the inception, construction, and transition. And then if you go down, then you have the process goals that address either the value stream layer or even then at the enterprise level. All right?
Portfolio and program management, for example.
Right, portfolio, program management, and many others. So obviously here we are talking about the implementation. So a tip, if I was you, I would be looking into the delivery part. Just a tip. I know at the beginning, we've been running a lot of workshops with the people, so they practice on how to go in this Dear Browser. Another tip, you have a search bar. Can help as well. So in our case, we are looking. Did you find something? Have you found something interesting?
Yes, it could be nice to have feedback. Maybe it's not easy with your phone.
No, with the phone, obviously, it's really small, okay. So it's not really easy. It's not made, I would say, for mobiles.
Maybe we need to implement
a mobile
browser compatible for iOS and Android, no?
Huh? That could be an idea, to have a mobile app. That would be much easier, actually, then. Next hackathon, we're going to suggest this topic.
To support PMI.
Okay. So in our case, we did obviously the exercise.
Mm-hmm. And finally, we pick up
prioritize work.
Yeah.
Quite obvious. So. It was about prioritization of the work, so we pick up the prioritize work, which is in the intake work, so ongoing. Because when you take the delivery part, the prioritization is something that is ongoing. So we took the prioritization, and there you see that there are a lot of different practices.
And one of them that was really interesting, it was the WSGF. I'm sure that you understood.
So we didn't pick up the easiest starting point, actually. Yes. We decided to go for the WSGF because today the requests are coming from really different type of stakeholders. It's not on the. There are many, and they are really different in terms of requests. Okay, so it could be a technical request as well. It could be something requests that are really focusing on that are client-centric, if I can say, so meaning that it's really something that the client is going to see. It could be a request for our internal teams or departments as well, because we are obviously developing tools for them. So that's why we went for the WGF, and as well because this method, this practice was considering different factors as well.
Yes, and basically what was really interesting in this, I would say, intervention when we deep dive with this team is that we spend time to understand, okay, what's their problematics, what's their context, and at the end we came with that. We train together, we try to exercise as methodology team, really to take into account all the parameters. We also play some scenarios, so it was really a time to incubate the ideas. And at the end, we came with that, and today they are still using it. It's going super well. We get some feedback from the stakeholders. We get some feedback from the team using this methodology, and it was super positive.
So yeah, so it's been put in place actually by Sébastien, who is here actually. He's been running different workshops and coaching sessions. So even though afterwards following up as well, not just being there as a coach to help so the teams, so the delivery teams and the stakeholders to use this practice, because sometimes it's not that easy this kind of practice. But at least today that's something that we've implemented as a practice within Swissquote.
Okay. So don't hesitate if you have some question regarding the DA browser, because we really experimented it a lot. Okay, a lot. Okay, so we integrated the discipline, the DA browser in the value stream, but I think it's yesterday I came with. No, it was last week. Yeah, we discussed. Sorry.
Last week.
We discussed about okay, but is the value stream used elsewhere? I don't know. And finally, yes, it's really used a lot at Netflix, in fact. And they use it on your profile account to display the movie that interests you. So 4 years ago, they implemented this feature thanks to the value stream, and it helped them to win 23% of benefits more. Okay? What they did, in fact, they are just showing you the less costly movie in priority. So you pick up the lowest price, in fact, each time. Okay.
So the idea was then to reduce the cost for them, okay? And so they're proposing you the less costly movies for them, okay? So the ones that are in priority at the top are the less expensive movies, actually.
It's a way to optimize, but at least the value stream have an impact even more important than what we can think, okay? But talking about Netflix, I'm thinking about an interesting movie. Maybe you know that one?
Apollo 13. I guess most of you, have seen it. So I remember it starts to be a little bit old, this movie, but then, no, what's interesting, I don't know if you remember the plot there, it was this crew this mission going to space, and they had an explosion on board, and so they had to abort the mission, and, well, the purpose and the objective was to bring them back to Earth, okay? So what happened is the crew and as well the employees at the NASA, so the engineers, they were like collaborating together, sharing their expertise. They were trusting each other, even though that in the movie we could see that there was this confrontation between Russia and Americans. But all together they could come up with a solution because they were at the end of the day experiencing and trusting each other and sharing their expertise. That's led me to another concept, or at least another part of DA, which is really important, is the focus on the mindset. And DA is not only addressing the process and the content, okay, which is important, the process, we've seen with the value stream, but the feeling part, because the feeling part, what does it mean? So us, human beings, okay, because behind each innovation, behind each project, in each product, you have men and women. If you want them to be able to work together, to collaborate, to make new innovation, you need to make sure that they have the freedom to speak. Okay? That they are they feel that they can share their ideas, that they can debate, that they can disagree. Okay? Disagreement is good for innovation. You need to have some disagreement if you want to improve. And sorry. So it was important that we put in place the psychological safety, so people can actually start to think differently, so they feel they can think. We were talking about things dare to be different. Well, dare to think differently as well. So we, and the methodology, we are promoter of this free thinking environment. What we're doing is that we are running workshops, as we were saying before, but where we're going to use the collective intelligence, okay? Where people can express and themselves and can come with ideas, and whatever your level of management, whatever your level of expertise, of seniority, you can really come and challenge the ideas of the others, all right?
You're free to speak.
Huh?
You're free to speak.
Exactly, free to speak. So we've been doing this workshop, but we've been as well coaching the team leads, team members on how to actually run this kind of workshops, so to have this collective intelligence working, all right? So that's one of the things that we've been promoting. So we are kind of the guardians of this safety place.
So the Switzerland of Swissquote.
The neutrality, yeah, because people come to us because the way we are placed as well in the company, just for you to know, so today we are in a separate department. The team, we are still in the, how can I say that, in the software engineering meta environment, I guess I like this, but we are separate from really the delivery team. So they see us as neutral when they come to us with some requests or when they're requesting some support. So yes, what we say is that sometimes we are like the Switzerland of Swissquote in terms of neutrality. Yeah. But that's not all.
Yes, but it's not only what we created with the methodology team. We also created the Center of Excellence. What it means, we are providing guidance, training, assessment tool, anything that anyone can need to improve. Finally, we are an incubator of practices. Really, that's what those three guys are promoting, and I'm so proud of them.
With you.
Sometimes no. But basically, one of interesting tools that they are providing today, it's this methodology radar, okay, on which anyone in the company, anyone in any team can just pick up some methodologies that we are really assessing, testing for them. So for example, you have in Adopt, you have some practices to better manage the risk, and Antonio is one of the best for that. You have also a lot of tools to manage the metrics that Sébastien checked. Especially
metrics man.
Yeah, it's a metrics master. And also Laetitia brings a lot of methodology techniques coming from Discipline Agile, so from the DA browser, basically, to improve sometimes the management, the project organization, coordination. So it's really a lot of tools that people can inspire, can use, and finally they know where to come if they need some help and support to put it in place.
Because what is interesting in DA is that at the end of the day, it's a toolbox. Okay, so you have practices coming from many different methodologies. So from SAFe, even from Spotify. There are some practices coming from Spotify, from, well, obviously Scrum, but from Agile modeling, from extreme programming. And what is interesting is that we can pick up things coming from this different methodology and try and test it internally. And we are not only addressing the delivery team, so the developers, but as well outside of that, for the product management, the managers, the strategy, coming with other tools and practices. This is just the beginning. This methodology is pretty new, actually, and we continuing to work on that. And actually, the idea was really to come with, we were talking before, the assessment tool. Okay, so that actually the teams can assess their agility, and then we could provide tools that actually match the result of the assessment, if I can say like this. And last but not least, and well, we've talked about, Hadi talked about that as well, is the community of practices. So today we have 16 communities of practices within Swissquote. Each year is a little bit evolving. We have new ones that are disappearing. At the end of the day, is really the motivation of people of sharing their expertise. They're driven by the same interest and the same passion. So that means that anybody could propose a new community, and there are some rules today, processes to follow to have a new community in Swissquote. And then really the idea is that they're experimenting, coming with some ideas. When we were talking before about crypto, well, the crypto comes from one of this community. We had back then the crypto community, and they came out with this crypto product.
Just the introduction of
the
crypto.
product, and in 2 months it has been launched afterwards.
Yeah.
So, and today, here you can see there are a lot of technical ones. So, for example, AI, DevOps, but we do have as well LeadCom. So, LeadCom is for the leaders, so really for the management with some practices. And we do have as well the Woman in Tech.
Yes, a special word from me, because Women in Tech is really promoting this diversity. And at the end, we came with a really interesting concept that certainly you will see next year. So keep an eye on Swissquote, but I think that we should simplify and open more the trading for women. So, finally, it leads us to
our key ingredients. So if we sum up today our key ingredients, so what are these 4 ingredients?
First of all, the initiator of visibility.
So with the value string, make the visible the invisible, so that you can see where your impedance is, where it's your waste, so that you can improve. The free thinking promoter.
Yes, because we really want to create this safety place. People can explain, can challenge themselves, can be challenged, can agree, disagree. This is okay. So we are creating workshop, a lot of place on which people can just speak. Practices, Aegerter-Cuello.
So through the trainings that we're delivering to our team members, to the team leaders, to the strategists, so the management level as well, and so how to use as well this DR browser. Now what we want is that every team is empowered and know how to use it, so that even when they have a difficulty, a challenge, well, they can go in the DR browser and find solution. When they're starting a project, they go into the DR browser. So it's really what we want. And last but not least, the ideas and products incubator.
Yes, because people can meet each other on topics that matter for them and really brainstorm and discuss and have new ideas. So finally, people are the key, are really the key. People are finally the innovation. So.
And because we are Agile, and for us, your feedback counts, what we're going to be asking you is to come back on the Menti, and we're going to be asking you for the ROTI. So ROTI, return on time invested. So is the time that you spent here was completely waste for you, or the time that you spent here was actually well invested? It's a new question. You should have a new question. You don't? And here? Thank you. Just reload the page.
Yes, you have to reload the page.
Click on go to slide. All right. Well, it's not that bad, no? Thank you.
Not so bad. Thank you.
Nice to see that. Anyway, we'll be more than grateful after the session if you want to come to us, give your feedback. So maybe for the people that were not that convinced, or maybe they were lacking some information, so don't hesitate. It's important to us as well to have your feedback, so we can improve as well for other sessions that we'll be having. All right.
So thank you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, the questions. Obviously.
Yes,
The
time for questions.
When did you see actually the change in mindset? Because we've been talking a lot about mindset, and actually, how did you see? Because it has to be progressive in a way, it can't change overnight. So I would be really interested to know your path to changing the mindset, or if you like, culture of the enterprise.
Well, in terms of culture, we've always been really open and flexible at Swissquote. So people, they are used to still continues to improve and to learn. Obviously, I mean, we've been using Scrum for years, so this idea of Kaizen and continuous improvement, it was there. Then, in any case, it was coming from there, because when we did the retrospective at scale, we listened to them. So then, what we did is that we listened to them, and the methodology team kind of dived in this methodology world and came out with DA. So it was already kind of welcome. In
fact, an interesting point, and I think Antonio could answer even to this question, it's at the end, in fact, after this retrospective at scale, we took a lot of time to analyze all the tickets, all the points that were just raised, a lot of answers, and at the end we were like, okay, but what can we do as methodology team, okay? So we look and watch a lot of framework. Honestly, it was really a long, long time. And at the end, what we did is just a gap analysis. Where we are, okay, and where we want to go. And we were like, okay, we have SAFe. Are we able to implement SAFe today in this company? The answer was no. Less? No way. So Discipline Agile was part of the study, and it was really with intention that finally we pick up that one. We address a lot of gap, a lot of recommendation. I remember with Barbara, all those people, we were really taking a lot of time, okay, what we are, where we want to go. And at the end, Discipline Agile was really the solution, and even more because it was at scale. So really envisioning the full company.
We have a strong sponsorship as well from the management. And today, maybe we've seen at the beginning, some of you, the CTO was there. And really, he's been really supporting us with this Discipline Agile. And it really through the different workshops. So we did it on a voluntary basis, actually, the workshop. At the end, I think only 2 managers didn't follow up the workshop. And it was really the ones coming at the beginning, being the ambassadors, and showing to the others. And we've been as well, where we were talking about the talks and the different newsletter, showing what we've been putting in place and how we could help the teams.
It was a kind of a sales work, I would say, but also people were really satisfied by the situation, what we were given to them, in fact, giving to them. So it was really good to see that, okay, we are bringing something that matters for them and that is really changing. And finally, they propagate also this mindset. Yeah. Do you have some questions there?
You mentioned your journey, but you didn't specify the time span it took to evolve on your...
We started...
it's been for many, many years, it was really on the Scrum. The Spotify model, we put it in place, it was 4 years ago, I think. That's when really we said, okay, we need to have a framework at scale. It was 4 or 5 years ago, yeah. And then we switched after 18 months. We abandoned completely the Spotify model and we put this.
Plus the COVID, it was complicated.
And so we put this own framework. And DA now has been what? A year?
Since February, we really started to implement, and we also asked the help of STS, Florian Ivan, that is not here today, but he really helped us to understand the concept, the mindsets outside.
So we are still at the beginning of the journey, okay? But we already see the
changes and the positive changes.
Thanks. Got a couple of questions. The first one, could you give us a sense of what was the external driver for this change that is required? Because you mentioned you were already doing Scrum for a lot of years, and then you tried to implement the Spotify model. But what was the driver for this kind of change? An external factor. Maybe.
Just the company is just growing and growing and growing, and at some point we had a lot of disalignments between everyone, between, I would say, even internally, the scope for every team was kind of complicated to understand. And we are working, thanks to DA, on the scope of every team.
Right.
So just for the software engineering, but we have to take into consideration the rest of the bank, business operation, marketing,
sure.
Sales, finance, all of that.
Yeah. Just a sense of, was there any external kind of threat as well that you needed to change? For example, I don't know, market share or any customer feedback or anything of that sort?
Well, definitely. Well, we are in a stock exchange, so we need to be to have benefits, okay, and to keep it pretty high because we've been growing a lot, and so the expectations towards Swissquote are really high. So we need to be faster in terms of time to market. Right. That's really sorry.
And smarter in the approach too.
Okay.
So that means that we really need to make sure that today the products that we were building really match the business needs. And sometimes there was some disalignment, or at least the business was too far, or the vision was not clear. And at the end, we were maybe building some products that were not addressing really the needs and of the customers. So it was important, and this value stream concept is exactly what is bringing us to us.
And when I said smarter, it's because it's people that are doing this company finally. So people needs to understand and be empowered and be able to change and also provide their feedback and also make evolution. So if they are, free, they feel safe, your company is growing and people are making this company growing finally.
We still have some challenges. Huh? It's not that everything now it's crystal clear and easy.
Sure. Can I ask the second question?
Sure.
So we saw the DA browser, the ways of working. If I understood correctly, that there are different functions in this company who might have chosen their way of working, right, to be faster or agile.
At the end of the day, today, the delivery teams, each of the teams I actually implemented their own way of working. So some are doing Scrum, for example, some others are doing Kanban, some others are doing extreme programming, right. And so everybody.
Yeah, so the question is there a need for consistency as well?
This is the mindset of DA. In fact, you remember Adi presented this full diagram at the beginning, okay? Making that, you have all the process blade, what you want to reach, and you have all the fundamentals, okay? And what we insist on, too, with methodology team, is that you have everyone making is choose your way, so way of working visible. So everyone knows how team are working. It's visible. So if today I go on a team that is managing the trading, they have to make their workflow visible. So it make a kind first of consistency.
Right.
And the other thing is are the metrics. The type of metrics that you're following up, obviously, the teams need to provide the information regards to the time of these metrics. But whatever for example, the methodology they're using, the way of working, for example, we are following up the cycle time. Even though it's in Kanban and you don't have some sprints, you can still figure out, okay, we're going to be following up. How long does it take, for example, on a 2 weeks basis, on 1 month basis, etc.
Thank you.
And as those teams are selecting their choose your way intentionally, it makes them really more performant, honestly.
I have also 2 questions. I saw that it's a continuous improvement, but do you still have waterfall projects? If yes, then how do you, what hybrid mode you use, especially for such members who involved in such waterfall projects?
Just the first answer is that waterfall projects are also manageable with discipline agile. It's taken into consideration, I would say. It's not necessarily our recommendation because we really want to shift the mindset, okay? But it's still addressed.
Well, today, the way we are delivering products, we are not in waterfall, okay? We are in agile way. It's just that today we figured out that maybe some steps, they were too fixed in, not enough iterative. That's what we are working on, okay? But for the product delivery part, they're not working in waterfall, right? But in the rest of the company, and which is not really product or linked to the technology, yes, they are still using waterfall projects. Well, if I was in HR before. No.
Just we are so ambassador of this mindset, this agile mindset, that we have some department coming to us like, hey, your agility seems to be really sexy, so maybe you can bring some tool to us. So I think it's again a matter of promoting.
It's just a matter of time. And because, for example, legal came to us, HR as well, because I was in HR before, so I kind of brought the seed of agility already there, but no, we're going to be, the idea is to then after addressing other departments as well and to help them to be more agile.
Thank you. And the second question, I saw that you're practicing free speaking and openness of innovating. How do you encourage people to be innovative, to bring ideas?
It's not a matter of encouraging people, it's just that we create this environment to let people feeling free to promote their ideas. And after, what we are bringing, it's all the process that are around these ideas, okay? So finally, it's really I would say, the environment. Finally, people can just talk each other, they go to this community of practice, they have a good idea, so yes, we have the AI, we can integrate that or that, so people feel innovative, they can innovate because they have the place to finally explain their ideas and promote them, and after they have some time to work on it. I think that we have the DAV, yes.
Yeah, just saying that, as we saw before, we have some yearly hackathon where people organize themselves in a small cross-functional team group to propose new idea and implement in 24 hours. That's one safe place to implement and bring new idea.
So, just to summarize, hackathon, free thinking environment, community on which people can propose some ideas and implement them with a group that's really interested by the topic.
I just want to add is as well the facilitation techniques that we are using, for example, during the workshop, so people, they're opening up. And but it's true as well that at Swissquote we are in an environment, so people, they like to talk and like to share their ideas. It's just that they need to find a place or a moment where they can talk about their ideas. But most of the time they're pretty open and we are open to listen. So it's just creating the moments. Any other question?
Thank you.
Good evening, thank you. I must say that it's been 3.5 years since I passed the Discipline Agile Senior Scrum Master exam, and this is the first real life use case that I see here in Switzerland. So thank you for this very much.
Thank you, thank you.
My question is about how your framework initiative was received in the, let's say, top management levels, because usually it's always the question of investment, following budget and those things. Now you improve productivity, you improve agility, people are more happy doing their work, but you know, those who control the money flow in investments, how they feel about it, how were they impacted by this, and their feedback on your...
I think we could call just the CTO that is there, because he sponsorized a lot Discipline Agile, meaning that, I really wanted to, so the promotion comes from the sponsor.
Well, thank you for the question. We're actually, I was at the triggering of this this adventure, so we just, I just ignited the fire, and then it it rolls on by itself. Just open the gate, that's it.
So we are super lucky, I would say. You just give us the key and telling, okay, now you have to drive something that will make us better. And finally, we are trying to reach. Yeah? We are on the way. Yeah.
So everybody's happy. Excellent.
So if the CTO is happy. Other questions?
If everybody's working their own way, how do you consolidate when it comes to things like corporate reporting and understanding where you are on a project vis-a-vis its portfolio of projects? If everybody has different
well, every team is
methodologies?
doing their own way of working, but they still need to. We still have a roadmap that needs to be follow up. We still have some estimation phases, for example, during the year. So we still have a structure behind, but the way they are working on a day-to-day basis, it's up to them. The tools that they're going to be using, for example, the WSGF, not all the teams are using WSGF. Not all the teams are doing, as I was saying, Scrum. But we do have some KPIs and some metrics, and at the end, we need to be able to follow up on these KPIs.
And really the context counts. So it's really also a matter to find the best solution, the best decision for the team, the project, the context. So.
Yeah, so the metrics that we are following up can be applied to all the teams. Because the importance is not the way they are working, but the results. So we're focusing on the results. I don't know if it does answer your question.
Yeah, sure. It's just a question of how you consolidate those results, because it seems that you've got everybody working in disparate ways, but at the end of the day, you need to consolidate into one picture if you're looking at corporate reporting, for instance, for investors, etc.
Yes, no, but in Discipline Agile, in fact, the leadership have their own KPI. So finally, each team can select and pick up and determine their own goal question metrics, their own goal. And after, it should fit, and it fits, finally, with the KPI of the leadership. So you have this consistency that is really kept at some point. Maybe we have the metrics master that can answer.
So there's a few strategies that are embedded in Discipline Agile on that regard. The first thing is that there's the concept of universal metrics that can apply basically to all the different life cycles that you can push for. And then there are various strategies to roll up these metrics as you go above in the hierarchy by either categorizing them into a specific set of categories so that you can basically aggregate them. And another strategy is also by aligning the milestones that you'll put on each phase of the life cycles. You'll make them risk-driven so that each team, even if they're working another way, they have this same risk-driven milestone that they need to address during each phase. And then in the DA browser, you have really a bunch of approaches to help coordinate programs across different teams by aligning the cadences and so on. There's really a lot of things.
The metrics master answer as well. Thank you, metrics master. Other questions? No? Sure?
Okay, anyway, question. Anyway, we're going to be at the apero afterwards, so if you want to come to us, don't hesitate. But
Sorry for hijacking the floor. Different ways of working between different sort of functions. What are the challenges? Could you give us a sense of the challenges of managing dependencies between teams who might be having their own ways of working?
Managing, you said?
Dependencies,
yes.
how they work with each other. Because one team works in a different way, this team works in another way, but they depend on each other. So could you give us a sense of how do you manage that?
Definitely it's not easy, but what Sebastian was saying as well is that in Discipline Agile you do have some practices on how to align cadences, but as well what we are putting in place and Antonio is working on is the SCS. So maybe you can explain a little bit more on how it addresses this dependency issue.
Yeah, well, SCS is more architectural layer. I would rather say we manage mostly the dependency between different teams that work on the same product. but by having teams pulling from the same product backlog, actually, and having planning, what we call value flow planning all together, based on a 3 months period, and then having in this 2 days workshop visibility of dependency between the team. We may have need of restructuring the team on the fly by using some techniques that we may find in the browser, like borrow team members and something like that, or having shared capabilities. Otherwise, yeah, we try to reduce these dependencies as much as possible as we can. It depends also on the types of dependency. If it's business, we need to think about which requirements are the most important for us, if something can be prioritized or something not, and also managing and the other type of dependencies, like people dependencies. Maybe some skills are not available, they need to be found elsewhere, like managed by shared capabilities. So we have plenty of practice and techniques that can be found in the browser today.
All right. So
No
if
question?
you don't have any other question, we gonna be
let the mic to Hadi.
To Hadi.
Oh, Katia. Katia, thank you.
The small delicious gifts from PMI Switzerland. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Katia.
Thank you so much once again. It's so pleasure to see the women on the stage. And yes, I wanted to say that, you know, sometimes, I mean, about the innovation, sometimes you don't realize that the idea can be the valuable, or your idea can lead someone to something different, which brings you a huge innovation. So it's more like free environment where you have real speech, where you don't feel that this idea can be stupid. No, I'm not gonna say, I mean, there is no stupid idea you can always come up with.
If I can just add something, finally the innovation can be also in the process that you are putting in place. So just think about that. Thank you, Katia.
My pleasure. So I am Katia Michelashvili, so also a volunteer of project management ISISO Swiss chapter. First of all, we should mention that we are a non-profit organization, so which means that everything is based on volunteering job. So dedicated volunteers. So our chapter is founded in 2001. We have around 1,700 members, but members doesn't mean that everyone is active volunteers. We have around 80 people who are active volunteers. Some in Romandy, some in Zurich. So we are managing the placements. And Project Management Institute and Swiss chapter, we are really dedicated to everything around project management. So it's really like excellence in this discipline. We wanted to say that, I mean, founder of our chapter, who is still volunteering, it's been almost 23 years. Martin Harry just received the award of the year of the person of PMI Global. And we are really proud, and it also shows this dedication that since the founding the chapter, he was really dedicated, he was always investing, and he really saw something very interesting or important that he never left us as the chapter, and it really pays off. And this is also something what we share, but we also receive. For example, I mean, we can talk about some topics, but when we are discussing, we are doing. So this also, the both ways. And PMI chapter is also, I mean, something very important to know that this is the place where there are no kind of topics or limitations. Everyone is free. Everyone can come up, but we are very fond of active people, active and volunteering. So this is really kind of topics also. There is one more thing to say, but there are a lot of people, they don't know that there are some trainings. You can go on PMI.org, where you will find that there are not only trainings for project management, there are some power skill trainings. There are so many other things you will find, which really leads you to, sometimes we don't realize that actually, I mean, I am managing projects, I can say I don't need it, but they are really, I mean, researching and coming back with the latest, and really, I mean, they keep you updated. So you can really take a lot from there. And as, so for example, I may say that there are also STS, our partners, they are also training, the only one training company authorized from PMI.org in Switzerland. So yes, I would say that it can really lead you sometimes. I mean, taking this, I was doing, I mean, I didn't want, I was like artificial intelligence review on project managers, and Adi was telling me, no, you have to do, maybe you find something good, but at some point you really find, and it really leads you. It does not only give you that, I mean, materials or like knowledge, how to, I mean, you are reading or doing something, and it really leads you on the, I mean, how to empower, how to engage, and in the resilience. So it's really something interesting, and it's something, I mean, everything is evaluating, and we really need to keep updated ourselves, our knowledge to lead to the success. And as I said already, I mean, I would say that we are also part of the global AI survey. So we had, across the world, we had 2,500 respondents. And second phase, I have to say, Adi told me not to say, but Adi was chased and challenged. The second phase, he's doing the data and market analysis, and report will be in December. So don't hesitate to visit our page, PMI Switzerland, where you will always receive and see all the news and whatever happens around the project management. So, and what is also very interesting and very important is like there is artificial intelligence, there are a lot of tools, and it's very fresh, very new, that there is one tool, which is quite, I mean, it's been 1 week. So there is a special artificial intelligence tool for project managers in project management. And this is what is also very important to know about that I mean, there are artificial intelligence tools which keeps the data, and it's not it does not give you the latest data because they are not following it fast. But artificial intelligence for project managers, this tool will be updated directly from project managers. You will absolutely have all the data, like whatever happened yesterday, you will already have the result on this. So you will all receive the presentation after. So don't feel sorry if you don't. I mean, if you don't have time to take the pictures. So, and also, I mean, there are also. Feel free to contact us about the project management institute, what happens, what they are doing, what is it about. So you can go on PMI.org, or you can also contact us directly. We can even come to your companies or just have the meeting, online meeting, where we can present everything around. So also what is very important, it's about Switzerland, PMI Switzerland community. We are also partners. We are coordinating Swiss Corporate Networking Group. And what is also, I mean, for us, the advantage is that we have 2 volunteers. One, Martin Harry, which comes from SIX, which is one of the Swiss Corporate Networking Group, and Swiss Re. So we really try to do something and create something good. And we are also on Academia Outreach Program. We are trying to help. Even though it's volunteering, we're always happy. If we decide to volunteer, we're always happy to give and to help. And we are trying to we are already partnering with schools, universities around project management. And also, which is very important and interesting, currently, yesterday, we were, Swiss chapter was part of the Sustainability Summit of UK. One of our volunteer, Maria Bursuk, was presenting something very interesting, which was really successful, and we are so happy to hear that the UK's chapter, they expressed their willing and their wish to continue partnership with Maria and with our PMI Swiss chapter, social good. department. And also project management trainings we had on this social impact. I mean, you know that currently there was a war in Ukraine, so there are a lot of people who had to be displaced. So there is Bibel own organization funded by the Ukrainian woman who came up with a great idea, who was like not investing money, but who was trying to invest and who was trying to give something more valuable, trainings. She was trying to get the people who would give the training to the people, I mean, in project management or in different directions, to I mean, give some special training where these people here, they would be more, I mean, more adaptive. They would enter in Swiss market easily, because, you know, sometimes we can invest money, but sometimes it's more interesting when we invest education. So Georgia, the PMI Switzerland chapter was also part of it. So 2 of our volunteers were doing the trainings for Ukrainian displaced people, which is also proud for us. And as we are all here, thanks to our sponsors, we really need people like sponsors like Swissquote, because, you know, we are volunteers, we never earn money. And everything to exist, we need sponsors. And we have sponsoring packages, annual packages, but we also need, and we also are happy to listen and to welcome the sponsors like Swissquote, with whom we can really do these events at a time. We don't really need, you are not obliged, or some companies are not that don't have obligation to be sponsors for long term, but this kind of sponsorship are really interesting and important for us. So also don't hesitate if your companies are ready, or if you have some ideas. We are really happy to welcome and negotiate and become a volunteer. So sometimes when we are talking about volunteering, some people are approaching me and telling me that, what are the criteria? So this is also one amazing thing in PMI chapter, that there are no criteria. You are not judged. So you are welcomed. Everything, all your ideas are welcomed. And you don't have obligation to be PMP. So we really don't care about that. So just come if you want to, if you are willing to do something, to volunteer, but we love active volunteers. So please free to contact us, to write us directly, or then just directly with a click, one click. And there you will find, we have some activities. We don't only have this like events or workshops, we also have the aperos or lunch, where people are gathering for networking and sharing and everything. So you will find everything on our website, and which is also very interesting. So you can subscribe on website for the newsletter, where it will keep you updated for all news and everything around PMI chapter activities. So today's team, who organized the kind of event with Swissquote, thank you so much. And we have, again, we are on some different platforms. Please don't hesitate to follow us, to get in touch with us with whatever ideas or whatever questions you have. We are always free to listen to you, to answer, and whatever. And again, thank you, Swissquote. We really appreciate your today's visit and today's hosting our event. And as I said, thank you so much. And just one click, one QR code bar, what you will receive on emails. Just please, I would love to remind you that whoever have not done check-in, just come to me. We are talking about DA and agility, and apparently my Android is agile, flexible, because only I have the access to check-in people, not the ones with iPhone. So please come to us, and we will do the check-in, because it's very important for those who have our PMP, because we have to apply PDUs. And you will have all the information, slides, and everything on your email. Also, you need to be checked in. And whatever happens, so contact us. We are very happy. We are very free to listen to you. And now I think that we all are hungry and thirsty. I would invite you to have apero. And thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate. We are not paid, but this is, for us, this is a huge salary. I was talking with Nicola Goran. We were talking, I mean, a week ago, we had again the event, and we were like, it feels so good when we publish event, when we organize event, and we see people come, and don't forget to give us the feedback. So, and it really helps us to evaluate, to be better. And also you can come up, like, for example, ideas, what you want to listen, what you want to learn more, and we can kind of manage to organize some events or some topics around that. So thank you so much once again, and I hope to see you for the next events. Thank you.
Okay, so time for the apéro. So the apéro is in our cafeteria, so you can just follow up the sign toilet. but it's over there.
I'll just follow the CTO.
Yeah, just follow the CTO there.